Sup, nerds? This is episode 10 of the Omni4Game podcast. I'm Sean, and as always, I'm joined by Chris and Brandon.
All right, today's recap for the Omni4Game podcast is we go over our local recap. We talk about what could make black good again. Our cards becoming too free in this game, and what that dog doing?
What that dog doing?
Is Baumon a problem? We're
Yes.
thinking he's a problem.
Locals recap. Who wants to go first? Firsties.
I think Brandon had probably more interesting stories, so mine were a little less interesting, and I know Sean had interesting, so I'll go first. I finished 2-2 round 1. I played against Ben, and I was playing blue hybrid tonight, full power. I
don't know if I'd say full power.
Okay, I'm missing a couple alt arts. My bad.
No. I'm talking about the fact you had a Magna Garurumon in your deck.
Okay, listen.
I was waiting for you to say something about that.
One, it never came up. I never used it.
I'm sure.
But at the same time, if it was a Mirage, I still never used it. Like, it just never, like, I either beat my opponent by that point or it just never came up. Like, I never was sitting there like, I wish this was a Mirage. Like, it just never came up.
I don't believe you. I think you just didn't understand.
It's a good and bad thing. No, okay, listen.
Mirage bounces a security or a Digimon and gains memory.
Anyways, okay, listen. Sean, you go into it, you bounce your Zudomon, you lose 3 memory, you bounce their level 5. What are you missing from here?
What? What are you talking about? Magna can't bounce the Zudo. Magna has to bounce hybrids. You dirty cheater.
Well, it never came up. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, that card sucks. Magna Garurumon sucks.
Anyways, listen, it's a way to dodge level 4s on the board so they can't ace me.
You know what else is a way to dodge level 4s on the board?
Yeah, Mirage dodges 1. Mirage gets 1 off the board. Magna can get 2.
Nah, I'm about to expose him. He straight up looked me in my eyes while he was putting this deck together and said, "We don't have 3 alt-art Mirages, so I'm throwing this alt-art Magna in here."
Yeah, I wanted to play Magna over the Mirage anyway. Anyways, we're not starting the podcast.
Oh, okay, so I was about to respect your decision, and then you just said that, so no, I no longer. It's still dumb.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But at the same time, I still wanted to play at least one Magna.
Yeah, so it's still a dumb. It's a dumb decision.
We're not doing this right now, okay? Anyways. All right, listen. I played Ben. He was playing Yellow Vaccine again. I feel like it's been a year since I've ever beat Ben. Like, I can't remember the last time I've beaten this guy. I was playing so well round 1. So well. We were, like, evenly matched. He was doing stuff. I was responding. I was, like, I'm not a patient player. I know this about myself. I try to be. I try and play patient. I try and play smart. I try not to just randomly swing at security. So I was trying to play really patient, and I was. And I made a mistake. I attacked, knowing he had the Magna in his hand because I had previously the turn before like bounced it to his hand or something. And I was trying to clear his board, and shenanigans happened. I just fall apart after that. Game 2.
No. You didn't outright say it. So you walked face first into an ace that you knew was in his hand.
Right, yeah. I don't know why. I knew I had bounced it in there. I knew it was in his hand. I attacked. I was trying to attack over his Digimon because I didn't want to risk swinging into security and losing my Beowulf. So that was my mistake number 1, was I was trying to clear his Digimon. With a Zudo in hand, too. I should have Digivolved into Zudo, bounced it, and then I could have... Yeah, I know. Hindsight. It's
because the Magna was in your deck. That's the whole reason you did that.
Yes, it was the Magna's fault. Anyways, I fell apart after that. One mistake. Game 2, he beat the brakes off of me. He just did vaccine stuff.
Bulkmon turn 2 shenanigans.
Yeah. Bulkmon turn 2 shenanigans. I was immediately down 2 security, and I just couldn't recover after that because then now he's just poking me consistently, and I just can't recover from that. So, and then round 2 I got the bye. Fine. Round 3 I played Kentaro's Mon against my favorite player of all time, Caleb. Unfortunately, he had to sit there and watch me play Digimon.
Oh my god!
And
I forgot I was sitting next to you for that.
This poor guy. I mean, I can't tell you how great it is having multiple Bokomons on the board, and he just can't get rid of them. He was trying his hardest.
Apparently, doesn't play any removal. Whenever I looked over at your field, it was like you were just go fishing by yourself. Like there was no one interacting with you at all.
I literally had so many cards on my mat just because I didn't have to kill. I didn't have to go. I didn't have to do anything. I'm just letting him play, and I'm just responding, clearing his board. And I'm like, okay, now I will kill you. Now I will allow you to die. That's how I felt. I was like,
and now you will have die my permission to die.
Exactly. I'm like, Caleb, you're gonna die when I want you to die. He was like, every security check, he's like, Odin's Breath's in there. It's gotta be in there. It's gotta be in there. Like, poor guy. I see what Kintaro's wants. I see what he wants it to do. It's just, when your best card is Odin's Breath, like that's the only card I fear. It's like,
best card. It's the card that keeps you from killing him as quickly as you otherwise could. I wouldn't say it's the best card.
It holds you off for one turn. It's like, okay, I guess I'll kill you next turn. I'll do some more stuff. I'll play another tamer. So that was fun. That really showed the power of what Blue Hybrid could do at full power. Actually, one card that didn't come up a whole lot tonight was Tommy. I think it came up once against Ben. The one card that was putting in a lot of work, obviously, was Sora and Joe. Yeah, because once you stun something and you leave it there, I'm just gaining the memory off of it. Tommy's cool and all, and I think there was one time where maybe I Digivolved into him, something attacked, and then stunned something, but that was it.
Yeah, it's not like OG Blue Hybrid where Tommy was your lifeblood.
Yeah.
Now you have so many other cards to interact with stuff that it's like, okay, it's cool that I have it, but it's not super necessary.
Well, it also doesn't help that half the players at our locals all know that me and Sean want to play Blue Hybrid, so they're like, let me tech X antibody in. You're so good, Brandon. How'd that go replacing that with
How did it feel boost, playing
Brandon?
that brick?
How'd that go? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mel was playing the same deck as you, but was playing Mist over X antibody. And what place did Mel get, Brandon? Yeah, we'll talk about that later. So round four, Brandon pulled down his pants and touched himself while I sat there and had to watch. Okay, he was playing Lugamon. I got bent over and spanked. Okay, I couldn't even play the game. I'm sitting here trying
to Evo into a level 4.
I couldn't. There's no. What am I? There's nothing on the board. What's Kumamon gonna do? What's Corey Kakamon gonna do? Nothing. They're not gonna do anything.
Promote my level 3 and then kill
against them you have to
fair. That was so fair.
And then he does play stuff right, and I go strip. He goes, I wanted that in the trash anyways. So I mean, what do you do?
That level 4 in the trash.
Yeah. What do I do?
Play that for free.
That's just a hard. Unless they open extremely slow or extremely poorly, there's nothing I can do.
It's a matchup you have to practice. Having experience, because I played Blue Hybrid versus Ben's Lugamon quite a bit. You have to practice that matchup to know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it's like if I go into early. I mean, I guess it's a deck you have to just be super aggressive early on with.
You just have to.
You also have to be careful hitting AGs out of the security.
You just have to know how to play around what they're able to do. You don't want to leave bodies on the field if they might be able to kill you and stuff like that. It's just it's a weird matchup. You can't just hurt her against.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also think that the level 5, what is it, Hell Lugamon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that card's really good.
I was playing
on legs.
Yeah.
Or the.
I play test Ben right after our round. He's like, "Hey, I need to practice my ulti cup Luga," and he's like, "I was like, I'll play Blue Hybrid if you want." He's like, "Sure," and then I'm playing it. I think I end up winning the game, but he's at a huge handicap. He's playing ulti cup.
No analog use. Not that I know what those do.
I've got my Mirage on the board, and I'm sitting here. I'm just like, okay, this is fine. And he just hard plays the Hell Lugamon. He's just like, okay, effect, and then he just deletes it. And it's just like, what's any deck supposed to do about that doesn't have protection?
Deal level 7.
You get to discard cards, which the deck wants you to do. And it's like he's like, I don't care how much memory I give you. It's like you're losing your full stack, and you're behind now. Mm-hmm. And he's got to do stuff that he wanted to do.
Yep.
And he's not on the board anymore, so you can't stun it. He's in the trash.
So I finished 2-2. Blue Hybrid felt really fun. Like it just felt like it's a fun deck. The Zudomon just feels so nice. It's such a good card that I feel like can be played in like so many decks. Like the fact that you can just how many times I think I hard played it for 4 more times than I did actually like blast evoing it or like digivolving into it. Just hard like I'm at 3 and my opponent doesn't have a memory setter.
Yep.
Okay, bounce your stuff. You're put at 1. And now I have a setup for like Mirage next turn or Magna, you know, like it's just a good play.
When me and Sean were testing Ulti Cup, yeah, it's a good play.
Unironically, it's a good play.
Good play.
Yeah. When me and Sean were...
It's the best Blast Evo. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything about this Metal Greymon. I don't want to hear anything about Lilymon.
I hope no one's saying anything about Metal Greymon.
I don't want to hear anything about any of these other Magna. I don't want to hear it.
The only one that's even close.
Yeah, Magna's in second place.
Magna's second place.
Zudo is a very clear first.
Yeah, Zudo's clearly S tier.
Yeah. Yes. Because Zudo has less restrictions on him. Magna's
he has no restrictions.
Yeah, exactly. Magna's removal is based on your security, and if you see it too late into the game and you're already low on security, it's a nothing card.
Yeah.
Sure, you get to recover one.
Yeah, it gets worse the longer the game goes on.
Yeah. So Zudo's just a super good, fun card to play. It actually made me think about wanting to play like the Gomamon deck, like just play that and see what that looked like.
Yeah, test it.
It'd be a worse version of what you played.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you're probably right. But I don't know. Blue Hybrid's definitely the better blue deck. But anyway, so that was my locals. I went 2-2. I had fun.
I have a question. Did the Lanamon ever come up?
One time, yeah.
Did it matter?
I got to there was one turn I don't think it was like game breaking, like don't get me wrong. It's just like an extra hybrid. Like if I don't have a Kuma or a Korikaku.
Oh, so just the fact that it was a hybrid, not the fact that it
Yeah. Well, okay, so there was one play where I digivolved into the Lana. I think a Korikakumon stunned something. Well, I placed the level 3 underneath it. Anyways. Right, it has jamming. Korikakumon, I went Beowulf, attacked, activated an effect. Alright, Beowulf's effect. I returned the level 3 to my hand, and then was just able to like digivolve in the raising area like the following turn with it.
You cheated.
I was about to say, do you play hybrid level 3s?
Judge?
Okay, maybe it was level 4. Maybe it was level 4.
I mean, this is the same guy that just said he activated what is it, Magna Grumon's effect and bounces Zudo back to his hand?
I mean, we know he doesn't.
Yeah, you don't read your cards.
Yeah. Listen,
it doesn't just bounce anything back to your hand, you dirty, filthy cheater.
It was a level 4 because it was.
Changes.
The story has changed. It will continue to change. It was level 4 because it was against Ben, and I was bouncing back his not Bulkamon or Angemon.
It doesn't matter what you bounce in Beowulf's stack. He bounces a level 4 or lower regardless.
Right.
As long as it's a hybrid, obviously, because that's the legal activation of that effect.
Edit this part out. Okay, go ahead. When do you guys talk now? When do you guys talk now?
You cheated, dude. You cheated and lost.
I didn't cheat.
How does it feel?
I didn't cheat. Okay, I didn't bounce level 3 back.
It sounded like you said that. I don't know.
Okay. Let's get a replay. Instant replay.
I wish.
That an instant replay.
Here's the Carfax. But I was going to tell a little story about the Zudomon. Me and Sean were playtesting Ulti Cup, and it was actually kind of hilarious. I had my Ulforce built with a Zudo underneath it, and because Sean was forced to give me so much memory because of Sora Joe, I was able to Kaiser Nail out the Zudomon again. And like, because my brain thought of it as, well, Kaiser Nail is just an extra copy of Zudomon if Zudomon's on the board. And I thought that was actually kind of a really interesting little tech.
I'll tell you what, there were plenty of times tonight where I had so many full moon blasters in my hand that I wished one of them was a Kaiser Nail because it would have actually come up. Because I could have played the Zudo out. I could have played the Zudomon out and bounced something again, and then gone into Mirage.
Was this against Kentorosmon when you were basically just touching yourself for the entirety of the match, or was this against the good decks that you played against and lost versus?
I think it would have actually against Ben once, where I had a Mirage on the board, and then he ends up going into something, and if I had another Zudomon, I could have bounced his level 4 out, and he couldn't have Magnum me. but I had 2 full moon blasters in my hand. And I was like, if one of these could have been Kaiser now, I could have responded to this.
I mean, you could have also just activated the full moon blaster.
Yeah, but then that passed his turn.
Ben's a smart player. He has like 5 cards in hand. I'm giving like 8 memory. And then I'm gaining 1 back. I'm tired of these smart
players. Mirage as well.
Yeah, I'm tired of these smart players.
Yeah, you gain double memory. You gain off the option and the Mirage.
I played Full Moon Blaster or Mirage against Ben once, and then he immediately knew because he played so much against you. He just kept his hand at like 5 or 6. He's like, I'm never gonna have more cards than this. He's just like he'd promote and stuff, or like promote the Patamon and be like, I'm just not gonna Digivolve with its effect because he didn't want to draw. He's like, I'm just not gonna do.
He saw what Sean did last week and said, not to me, man.
Yeah, he would just start hard playing stuff.
He's play tested against my list a lot on the sim.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just never gonna have cards in my hand.
Your deck was what, like 2 cards different, I think?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cards off.
And then Brandon goes, you know what? You have Sora and Joe on the field? I'm just never not gonna have anything on the board.
Unless I'm killing you.
It's just like, there's nothing you
Or his amazing secret tech of X antibody that did nothing for him the entire
night. It did nothing.
The night.
Yeah, so fun fact, guys, if you're thinking, oh, hey, this Lugamon deck, all the line has X antibody. Maybe you tech that in. Just play Miss Memory Boost. It didn't come
Listen, I've talked enough about my locals recap. I want to hear about how Brandon fumbled his way through the entire night and lost himself multiple matches. Okay, let's shift it from me. Let's put it on this guy.
Let's make fun of Brandon now. All right, go.
Yes, please.
This is that corner. Okay, so round 1, I get the bye. So the kicker has been iced. Everybody else is getting their warm up, and I'm over here just watching Sean just play his match. And I'm just, whatever. What am I doing? I'm just sitting there. I'm doing like little playtest hands. Best I can do.
He's go fishing to my left.
Yeah, just getting the brain juices.
Scouting my deck.
Clearly it's not working. The brain juices are not flowing. Because I go into round 2 against Sean. And when I tell you, this is probably the single biggest fumble I have ever made in the history of this game. Like, I thought I almost pulled a Chris, and I almost just left.
I don't know. Losing to Brad in the finals of the store championship.
It wasn't the finals. Brandon didn't make it to the finals.
Pretty big fumble.
But that wasn't my fault. He just opened up Omega Ultra Super Stack, and I was like, all right, cool. All my level 6s are in security. I guess I can't play.
Brad thought that Shoutmon was so good after that. He tried to bring that stuff. Like, what was it, like three formats later? And he's just like, this is still a good deck, and was getting bodied.
Shoutmon DX was never a good deck. He just sacked everyone for 4 rounds.
Sacked everybody.
Sacked.
Bro, somebody check his card sleeves.
So anyways, I can confirm as witness, hand on the Bible, Brandon fumbled away the game very, very hard. Multiple times.
Was that game 1?
It was game 1. Yeah. So game 1, I have somehow come into the situation where I have all four, every copy of Analog Youth on the board. I have 5 bodies on the board, and I'm swinging big with the Fenriluga. I was playing so smart. I was playing cracked out of my mind. I'm like, he's got Black War X on the board. I'm never swing with my level 6 first. I'm going to swing with my little dudes. He can't redirect that attack. We're chilling, right? I hit him with the Alliance double swing on my level 4. It was good. We were kosher. All right, cool. Now we're going to swing with the Fenriluga. So my last 2 checks can be my Rush Black Gatomons. I knew my Fenriluga was dying because he was forced to block it with his Black War Greymon. They were going to crash. They were the exact Black War Greymon X. They were the same DP. I knew I was losing it. All right. So we crash. I put my stack in the trash, and I look at the memory, and it's at 2. And I'm a Lugamon player. That's our turn.
It's our turn.
That's still my turn, right? So all my analog youths are just sitting there unsuspended. Sean's going to show the clip. It's going to be in the video if he posts it.
It'll be between you and Mel since it was the same matchup. So I'm not sure which one I'll post.
Oh, put this one out. Put this one out so you can put me on blast. Let's do it.
Make it a YouTube short.
Be like when the Finn player forgets that effect is on their Mega and not just part of the game.
Yeah. So my Lugamon dies, and I just proceed. And Sean goes, okay, so it's my turn. And
no, you attempt to swing with your Black Gato.
Yeah,
when it's 2 memory on my side.
Yeah, I attempt to swing with the Black Gato, and Sean's like, it's my turn, bruv. Yeah. And I'm like, you what, mate? Yeah, no, my analog is just
Brandon's like, oh, okay, I guess I lose because he didn't have any cards left in his deck. He decked out.
Yeah, I literally decked myself out playing that turn. Because, again, 4 analog use. That's like...
It was such a... I was sitting there watching, I'm like, this is the pinnacle of Digimon right here. Like he's going all in. This is hey, I'm winning this turn.
Yeah. This is my pro tag moment, and I fumbled it.
And then I watched as those analog use just stayed,
just sat there,
and I just said, "Oh, he's gonna trigger those. He'll remember."
I knew he forgot about him when he started.
Oh no!
When I went to grab the Black Gato.
And that's when I was like, okay, so it's my turn. And you were like, yep. And I was like, cool.
We live with our misplays here. We're not going to be those people who are like, oh, let me take that back. Because
you did what I do. You get tunnel vision, right? You get your tunnel vision.
I saw the finish line,
and and
I didn't realize that there was a little stop gap. So when I went to run over the finish line, I fell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead. Broke my ankles.
I do that all the time. Like with Ben in my game 1, I saw where I was going and how I was going to get there, ignored everything and said, this is what I'm doing. This is my play. I'm not thinking about anything else. And then it happens and I'm like, damn it, Chris.
Where did I go wrong?
Yeah, where did I go wrong?
But so game 2, I get that one. Game 3, we had 50 seconds to start, and we tried. We really tried.
It was a very fast. It was a very fast game.
Yes.
We tried, but we ended up drawing.
We did our best.
Yeah. So game 3, I played against Ben. Game 1, I also fumbled. There was one play in particular I can distinctly remember in my mind where in my head I was thinking, okay, I need to do plan A, but for some reason my brain, I think I was still tilted from the Sean game. I was still tilted, and I was drawing cards, and as I was drawing, I was getting these new cards in hand. I'm like, oh, these new cards in my hand, I need to use these. So somehow plan A shifted to plan B, and plan B that's how you lose. So that's what I did. So I somehow punted that game away, too, by not playing around the Magna. I thought I counted it right, but with my new math, I completely ruined it. Because I knew he had the level 4 on the board. I was like, all right, he's going to Magna me. He has this many security. I'm going to lose this much DP. That's fine. We can crash.
You forgot he recovered first.
Back. No. I straight up just skipped a step. In my plan, I just went from here to here and just skipped over what was in the middle. Ruining the entire play. I don't know how I did it, how I ended up at here, but that's where I ended up. So I lost that one. To myself, as you do. And then game 2, out of my 8 tamers, I never saw any of them. And if you've ever played Lugamon and you have no access to any AG, you just lose. So games like that happen. Nothing you can do about it. So I got 2-0'd pretty bad. Got stomped. Game 4, against Chris, I did what he said. I bent him over. He never evoed into a level 4. He just sat there with his little floodgates out, thinking they were going to stop me. And like, cool. Oh no, I can't gain memory.
I knew they couldn't stop you. They weren't there to stop you, Brandon. They were there alone and afraid and scared.
And then Commandramon came up to them saying, "Hey, how's it going?"
I will say, I'm gonna put this in real quick. I forgot. The whole idea of the ace was perfect in my match with Ben, because after what happened in game 1 against him, my whole mentality change was, okay, I can't let him Magna me again, and I just refused to try and play into it. He never had it. I was playing scared the entire game too, and he goes, "Yeah, I just never saw it, but that's okay." And I'm like, "Thanks, Ben.
Yeah,
you're real encouraging. Thanks."
Sometimes you need to force them to have it. You can't just play like that.
I mean, like in the sim gameplay against Sean, I'm just sitting here like, there's no way he has both the Metal Greymon and the War Greymon ace in his hand, right? He has both.
Like, if you were to show somebody, like, how aces worked, you take my matches or my match against Ben, and you're like, okay, this is the do's and don'ts.
Study.
Yeah, this is a case study. This is why you don't attack while they have a level 4, and this is what happens when you play scared, thinking they have it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Sean. So that was me. Let's get over to you.
So I played Greymon Toolbox, I guess. My top end was Raid War Grey, BT12 Raid War Grey, and Black War Grey X. I went 2-1-1. I played against Security Control round 1, which is a pretty favorable matchup for me. I ended up winning 2-0 in time. We were able to barely finish game 2. I Ragned for game 2. And was that game 1?
The Ragnar was game 2.
Okay. Round 2 I played against that was versus Brandon after he had scouted my deck sitting next to me while I was playing round 1.
I don't make the pairings.
I mean, you literally are in charge of creating the pairings.
I hit
like
the button, and then I hit print, and then I grab the paper, and then I hit send post notifications, and then I put the paper up.
Yeah. So Brandon should.
I've sat there and seen it go shuffle.
Shuffle. I've scouted one deck in particular.
Yeah, Brandon should have 2-0'd me, but he forgot that analog youths have like other effects.
Well, we don't know how the other games would have gone if he wins that one. Who knows?
I mean, yeah. If he's not tilted, maybe I win a game 2. And so we drew because he punted game 1 and then beat me game 2, and then we had like no time for game 3. We started game 3 in time.
Basically, yeah.
It was quite funny watching you guys trying to shuffle your decks and do it, and I'm like, don't mulligan, save time. Sean
looks like
opens,
I'm mulliganing.
He opens his 5 cards. It's like 4 level 4s, and he's got like a level 6, and I'm like, oh, you got it.
I was like, I can't. I was like, I have no way of attempting to win with this hand in 2 turns.
Coward.
Yeah.
And round 3, I played against. Who did I play against round 3? Oh, I played against Hunters round 3.
Yeah, Hunters.
I kind of had some unfavorable opening hand. Like game 1, I should have mulliganed my hand. I opened with a boost and a Hades Force, or not a boost, but a training card and a Hades Force. And I need to see Hades Force in that matchup. Since I can't
blame you for keeping it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see
like
Hades
I was like,
Force, it's like.
Yeah. I ended up. I went rookie champion. And then for the entirety of the game, I just never saw level 5. Like, I had level 6s in my hand and Hades Forces, but I just never saw level 5 for the rest of the game. And that game took a while. Like, I was, like, forcing him to work for it, and he didn't have, like, a super optimal hand. But he ended up winning that game.
Was he playing any of the new stuff?
I don't think there's any new stuff to play.
Yeah, they got, like, there's a couple, like, I don't know if they're Hunters cards, but when I was sorting the case earlier, they had there's like a purple-black card. It's like the
I think that's Bogramon. That's
Bogramon stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I've never played Hunters. It looked like something that they play.
It's similar, but it's not the same archetype. Yeah. Okay. That deck hasn't gotten any support, which it doesn't need any. It's really good.
No, it's already good.
Okay. Game 2, I ended up winning. I think I Hades forced his tamers a couple of times. It's a little fuzzy. And then game 3 ended up winning as well, which I actually bricked game 2. I thought I was going to lose game 2, but I ended up coming back. So I ended up winning that matchup, thankfully. He never saw Shoutmon. Like, I never saw Shoutmon King version hit the field in any 3 games.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, he was drawing like really suboptimally the entire match. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten 2-0'd.
Couldn't be me. That was me last week, and he just had it both. Opening hand.
Yeah, he was like
Shoutmon's the one that scares me.
Shoutmon King version's best card in that deck. Like, it was like he wasn't playing it, but I saw it like in other times. He just never had it in his hand. And also, anytime he played Damimon, the one that looks at top 3 and plays a Hunter Tamer, whiffed every time. Yeah, so RNG's has blessed me for that matchup. Like, I should not have won, but I mean, maybe I still win if he opens up better, but it was definitely heavily in my favor for no reason. Then round 4, I played against Lugimon again. Fun for me. I lose game 1. I brick game 2 in hard play a level 4 turn 1 to put him at 5 memory. I somehow win that game. I don't really know how. At some point, I guess he just didn't see his combo pieces. I'm not really sure what happened, but I ended up winning that game. Game 3, we ended up, I think we were in turns.
Yeah,
we were in turns. And if I had seen my X antibody, because I'm playing the black base, so like I have to have the X antibody to have protection, I would have probably been able to force a draw, but I just didn't see it. And one search, like a turn earlier, revealed 2 out of 3 of them in my deck, and it was a card that I could not add them with. And as soon as I bought deck 2 of them, I was like, I'm probably never seeing the third card. The third card ended up being like the last card in my security.
I remember I was watching. Is that when he held Lugimon to your War Greymon? He's like, that doesn't have any protection, and you were like, no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
it was a little later than that.
I mean, that happened multiple times during that match, but game 3 was when I desperately needed it.
Yeah,
because like I knew he would have been able to out it because he had like 3 missed memory boosts on his field for his like last turn. Like he basically had access to 10 memory, so like he could evo into Finn before even swinging, so he could kill my War Grey with before he ever got a chance to block. So I lost that, so I ended up going 2-1-1. I think that math checks out. Drew and lost to Finn. I should have just gotten 2-0'd by both Finns, but
again, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I was also playing against Sean's security real hard because I hit 3 Hades Force, and I was at 2 memory, and I hit the X antibody out of security.
Hit 2.
No, I hit 1.
Oh, I guess over the course of the match, you hit 3 out of security.
I hit 3. It was real bad. He made me fight for it.
I would have rather drawn them. Clearing off those analog use would have been a lot better. Although I guess it didn't end up mattering because you forgot they were on the field.
Yeah, I felt a lot better if you would have just killed them. So my misplay would have never have happened.
Yeah.
So this is on you. This is your fault.
It's my fault.
It's your fault that I'm a bad player.
So I made a couple of slight changes to my list, but I'll post a deck profile and not just in future. I made some changes that I think will help the Finn matchup.
Yeah, they definitely will. Spicy techs.
I got some bones to pick with black. Okay, guys, listen. Black's bad. Let's be honest. It's the worst color in the game.
Yes.
Okay, it always has been, except for one small little time, for a very small portion.
One little micro format.
So I brought the topic of what can we do to make black better in Digimon. And the simple answer is we've got to completely scrap it. We have to change everything they want black to be. The whole slow way they play with the blocker and the de-digivolving, which is the best thing they have is the de-digivolving. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you can't de-digivolve them all the way down to like a certain level and just kill them is what makes it bad. Like, yeah, sure, de-digivolving is bad, but guess what they do when they follow it up? Digivolve, draw. Digivolve, draw. Digivolve, draw. So what's the point of it?
Yep.
It's cool. It's cool. Like, de-digivolving is the best thing black has. So, and I want them to stop being cute with all these dumb little, like, weird decks that they try and do in black.
One-off gimmick decks that go nowhere.
Yes. Like, okay, Commandramon's probably been the most stable thing black's had next to Diabloramon. Yeah. No, we talked about this in the car. I'm gonna say this right now. Greymon's not a black deck.
Yeah, Black War Greymon's a red deck.
It's not a black deck. It's not a black deck.
It's any card that has the word Greymon in it. It's not a color deck. It's a Greymon deck.
It's a Greymon deck.
Yeah,
if after Sean posts this and I see comments saying Black has Black War Greymon, no, he has a Greymon. It's a Greymon. Just because it's a black card doesn't make it a black deck. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the two decks side by side, you play the black base versus the red base.
One is better than the other.
The red base is going to slap the black base. Sean, you literally played the black base tonight. Agree? How many times tonight would you rather had red Greymon X antibody in your stack?
So I played the red base or the black base for a couple of reasons. I probably would have preferred the red base in some scenarios just because you have more consistent protection. But
and the extra security attacks.
I wouldn't have wanted the extra checks.
I know, but they're nice.
My goal was to not lose to Venusmon.
I was about to say, knowing Venusmon exists.
Yeah, so like I can't. That's one of the reasons that kept me from doing red base. Actually, was Venusmon being a card.
So anyway, Black War Greymon, Black Greymon. It's not black. It's not a black deck. It's a Greymon deck.
Yeah.
Black
Diaboromon got fumbled.
Diaboromon. Literally, I'm trying to build this deck, and you have to play 4 Diaboromon aces, right? Okay. So your second mega, right? You're thinking, okay, there's a lot of decks right now that go wide. They do some crazy stuff. Let's play the EX one that gives all your Diaboromon's tokens. What color is it?
He is white.
What can you not add off your training card?
White.
What am I supposed to do? So now do I play the one that has all the extra security attacks and try and be a more aggro deck just because I can add it off the training card if I see it? It's like...
Or do you just hope to draw the white ones?
Yeah, like why are we making his top end white? Like
you can't even training delay into it. Yeah, you can't even training delay into it. Mm-hmm. You have to hard evo. You have to pay full cost.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Like, why do we do this to black? Literally, there are 2 super good cards, and we were just talking about this before the podcast. There are 2 super really good cards, in my opinion, in BT14 that if they were any other color, they'd have inheritable. They'd have more effects. They'd be a deck, and it's the Vademon and the Evimon. Those are such cool cards. Like, you get to look at the top cards of your opponent's deck, de-digivolve something on their board, and that's information. You get to choose if they're going to be drawing that next turn, or you're putting that at the bottom of their deck. That's so cool. If that had, too. Literally, if it said Greymon on that card, it would have had an inheritable, and it'd be a really good card. But because it's in black, it's no good. They were like, oh, it's got de-digivolve. That's a good effect.
But like I said before, it came out in BT14, so it would probably be kind of mid if it were a Greymon card.
Yeah. So it's just
all the Greymon cards are kind of mid in that set.
Yes.
And the only time black was good was when Alphamon was at its peak, when it had its 4 Dorus.
And they realized that was a mistake.
Bandai Panic said, oh my, black's not supposed to be this good, guys. It can't be that. Put it back down there at the bottom. Like, at least green had months where it was Bloomlord and Kabuterimon dominating.
Grand
Quagmon. Yeah, they're all bugs. Who cares?
Facts, dude. It's all green. Beetles. Who cares? It's all looks the same.
Yeah, it's beetles. So at least green has had its time. Like, look at Bloomlord. You randomly show up against a matchup against Bloomlord, and they up well, and they do their little Bloomlord crap. They're gonna kill you. You can't show up with a random black deck and hope that happens.
Yep.
Like, when does black gonna get the respect it deserves? It has never been good except for that one little incident with Alphamon. And then it's ridiculous that they're like, oh, we'll print some more Doru and Alphamon cards, but we'll never make it good enough to where it can be peak again.
Which is wise.
Yeah, that Alphamon deck with like full power was extremely broken.
Yeah, imagine they now have all their new support as well.
That or Lugamon.
I would much rather play against Lugamon than full power Alpha.
Why?
Lugamon has legitimate, like, actual outplays. Like Sean knows, legitimate cards that hard counter the deck and make it to where that deck does not function.
You literally have a Tama. That is now once per turn. That I literally watched with my own 2 eyes. You trash your level 6 and go, put it right back on the stack. Alphamon can't do that. That's free real estate.
Alphamon doesn't.
You digivolved. You had 2 memory. I set you to 1 memory. You had 1 AG on the field, okay? You literally gained 1 memory, went to 2, promoted, did your shenanigans, digivolved 4 to 2 memory. Normally, with a regular deck, that would be my turn. But now it's our turn. Because you trashed your level 6, digivolved it, and then kept turn, and then killed me.
Yeah.
Alphamon's not doing that. Alphamon, the memory passes to your side.
Yeah.
Alphamon, it passes to your side. It's your turn.
It's not.
It's not. Have you ever read? Have you ever read Oryuken?
That's a level 7. That's a level 7. Okay, we're not talking about
that's when they go. That's what they go into to kill you. They're both really really good decks. But Alphamon,
it's not Oryukamon though. It was the level 5 that was doing that. Oryukamon by himself's not killing you.
Bruh, I don't know what you're smoking. They're both really good decks, but Lugamon actually requires other things to go well, and also their opponent to kind of play into it if they don't have like the nuts. Alphamon doesn't care. You could be there, you could not be there. Yeah. They're just gonna kill you after they promote their level 4.
One of Lugamon's biggest counters is your opponent just doesn't play a body on the board.
Yes.
Dimension fissure, that's what we need.
Board, oh god. If they don't have a body on the board,
macrocosm,
you cannot pop off. You can't OTK.
Yeah, unless you have the actual nuts and like all your black autos and trash already. If your opponent doesn't have anything on the field, they can't kill you.
You need 3 black Gatos and Chimera in hand in order to OTK with that type of playing.
Alphamon's just like, you're dead.
Sorry. Were you not paying attention? Yeah, I've already swung through all your 5 of your security and swung through your game. Sorry, man.
Okay, but name another black deck that's ever going to do anything.
I think Commandramon's pretty good.
Commandramon's fun, but it's like, oh, here's Crimson Blaze. You just lose.
The issue with Commandramon is it came out in the same set that Lugamon came out in, and people are going to be hard counter decking or counter teching for Luga, and it also hits Commandramon. Yeah.
Because if you're playing stuff like the Gatsus, the Solars, not Solar.
Pillow and Poma.
Pillow. And if you're playing those, they hard counter it. And I actually haven't played against Commandramon. Do they have a way to clear out floodgates relatively easily?
Yeah. Relatively easily. They have recyclable. They have an option that they can recycle constantly and reuse. That'll kill it. And also Brigadramon can pop them and other stuff.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, Commandramon's really good. Like, don't come at me in the comments saying Black Ass Commandramon. Commandramon's awesome. You can literally run up against a Commandramon player and they're gonna body you. Like, it'll happen with that. But like, it can be super inconsistent. It's super inconsistent sometimes because you have to play anywhere between 14 and 16 Commandramons. You have to. It's like a good portion of your deck. There will be turns or games where you're going to open up all Commandramons and then just not be able to do anything. Let me play Commandramon turn after turn after turn.
Have you played against BT14 Commandramon yet?
Yeah, it's a little more stack-based.
No, I know, but I'm saying there will be games where as a Commandramon player you're going to open up poorly. I mean, that can be said about any deck. But like, you play so many of the level 3 Commandramons that there are going to be games where you're just not going to be able to build a stack.
I mean, I don't know too much about the deck.
I respectfully disagree.
I know.
I've tested against BT14 Commandramon. I've seen what it can do. It's a lot better than it used to be.
It's so nice.
If we hadn't gotten BT14 support, I would agree with everything you're saying. But the new support makes it really good.
It is. It's very fun. I just want to see Black get to the level of all these other decks.
Because, I mean, we're finally getting the return of Yellow. I think this is the format where Yellow is going to have a top-tier deck. That's pretty easy. Like, you could say that about Shine Greymon, but what did I say in that name?
Yeah, it's a Greymon card.
Greymon.
Oh. Blue has always had a top-tier deck.
Blue's always good.
Yeah.
Every format.
I think
name one format that Blue... Comment down below one format Blue wasn't good, and you're wrong.
BT4. Checkmate.
Yeah, I was going to say BT4.
Which one was BT4?
Days.
Checkmate.
The first set we got hybrids.
No, BT4 was Yellow War Greymon and maybe Grand Kawaga OTK if you were feeling lucky. Yeah. Those are the 2 decks.
Hold on. What else was... Oh my god, was that when they had that really bad Metal Garurumon?
What really bad?
Was that the...
No, Ancient Garu.
Thinking of the art.
That was the set we got, like Lucemon, Ancient Garu, Ancient Gray.
If you weren't playing Yellow War Gray, you probably lost. That was like basically a tier 0 deck.
As somebody who played Ancient Garu in that format,
that's right. You were playing Ancient Greymon. That's right.
Yeah, I switched over to the red because the red deck got access to Atomic Inferno, and that card's broken.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so BT4. Oh, one format. My bad, guys. My bad.
I agree with like the overall sentiment, but I was trying to think of one off the top of my head.
That one. 10 numbered sets back ago.
Yeah,
right.
It was a long time ago. Because like BT5, what'd they have in BT5?
I think that's when they got.
We got the regular Garu support, but we still didn't have a very good top end.
I guess BT4 and BT5 it didn't.
What you did in BT5 is you built an OTK Ancient Garu deck, and that was okay.
Yeah, that was decent. BT6 was Gabubon. It was tier 1.
Yeah, that was tier 1.
And then BT7 was Blue Hybrid. BT8 was still Blue Hybrid. BT9 was Were Garu. BT10 was still Were Garu. BT11 was
still
Black War X mostly, but Were Garu was still a decent deck.
Old Force was dead by BT4. It had to be, right? Because that was like an early deck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I played Old Force in BT5.
Because we got access to Sora Joe.
When we got Sora and Joe and Blitz Omni, like it was okay.
So yeah, Old Force was good. It was still okay.
Yeah, it was okay. Not having stack protection was the only downside because security control was really popular back then.
Okay, so it wasn't top tier, but it was good.
Yeah,
I almost won the Store Championship with Hex Force. Hex Blau Old Force.
What's your definition of almost?
Almost.
I entered the tournament. I also almost won.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you can look back throughout all the sets, and every color, yes, some have been worse than others, some have been better than others, but black has always, but for that little bit, always been at the bottom. It's always that color that's down there.
Yep.
Always.
It's because if they're ever supporting it, you can tell if it's good or bad support purely based on one thing, and that is, does any of the cards have Greymon in the name? Like, because I know somebody's going to say, what about the Alter S deck? It's a Greymon deck.
You know what's funny is the one card in Alpha that broke the deck is also a Greymon card.
Yeah,
it's not officially a Greymon card because it's the English, but in English it's a Greymon card.
I think it's supposed to be like Dorgoromon or something.
Yeah, something weird, but it's Greymon in English.
But English, they were like, hey, how do we sell this guy as the new like face of the franchise?
Greymon.
His name.
It's just ridiculous. Like their whole concept for this color in this deck is blocker and de-digivolve. Like
it's like they want you to play
too slow.
Yeah, it's like they want
too
you to
passive.
Play it.
The color is inherently passive because of the mechanics they give to it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they want you to play a control defensive deck, and it doesn't work when you're able to
Digimon.
Yeah, when there are so many colors that have access to anti-defensive cards.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have a big blocker? All right, cool. Well, I'm playing a blue deck, so my guy's unblockable now. Sorry, bro.
Let me see if I remember this correctly, right? Okay. Remember back in the day, and this is going all the way back in these past sets. Remember the black War Greymon level 6 that it has like block and reboot, that was all it had?
The very first BT2.
Okay.
BT2 War Greymon.
War Greymon, yeah.
This is how and if I remember correctly, okay, because remember, Chris doesn't read cards. If I remember correctly, that card could get single-handedly taken out by a level 5 Skull Greymon, correct?
Because it has blocker.
Is that how? Think about it, guys. Think about it. That's how bad Black was. Okay, there was I think a literal time at a tournament where I was playing Crest Garurumon, and again,
you did that to yourself.
Yeah, hey, the deck was fun for like a minute. I think I played the Skull Greymon off of its effect.
Oh my god.
And blew up someone's level 6 blocker.
The Wombos. You could also blow up a Ragnalord if they had the Briar underneath it.
It's just like that's how bad Black is. You're losing your stack monster, your boss monster. This is your boss monster at the time for Black.
It's a super passive color that doesn't have. It basically needs to be like a Machine-Dramon type thing, where it's like unkillable. Because they have to survive on the field for so many turns to actually win the game, and there's so much removal now that it's just not a viable strategy.
And the one time they tried to make an aggro, standalone, black, offensive, super aggro deck was called Justimon, and that deck is not good.
I would say it was Alpha.
Yeah,
Alpha. And they succeeded, and they were like
after Alpha,
wait.
after.
After Alpha. But Justin doesn't have any protection, so you lose to removal.
Oh, I'm sorry. You hit my one piece of removal and security. Sorry, I win now.
If your opponent wasn't playing removal, though, it kind of messed them up because like the D-Evo when you swing and stuff is pretty strong. But
yeah, I mean they gave that a better effect with Shadow Serafi.
I'd completely forgotten about Machinedramon. You brought that up. That's also not a black deck.
Yeah, it's not.
Just not.
It's
not a black deck. It was. I think it started off as like, hey, let's make this a black deck, right? Let's make this a black deck because a lot of those early level 5s are, and then they realized, oh, the only way to make this deck better is to put every other color in it.
I mean, it didn't even start out as a black deck, I would say, because the original EX1 Machinedramon included red cards in its effect.
Yeah, like it's just not a black deck. It's
always been a multicolor deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like
that's how they make black better, is they add other colors to it.
Yep.
Yeah. Like
your cards will be better by having blue, by having red, by having yellow. Like even look at the poop deck. The poop deck is yellow black.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely more yellow than it is black.
It's definitely more yellow.
Yeah, the Edomons that came out in BT14, the really good one, it's just yellow.
Yep.
It's not even black.
The only reason the Alter S deck is a black deck is because they didn't want to give you access to the other Garu and Greymon support. So they made them a singular solid color that neither of them could really truly interact with. But even then, guess what? The Greymon line slides in onto the black stuff too. Yeah. So you ended up playing the BT, what is it? BT11? No, BT12.
BT12 stuff.
BT12, Aggro, and Greymon. Because they were just good. Oh, you have to Evo for 1 in your Tama raising? That's fine. I'll promote next turn, Evo into Greymon, play my broken Tamer for free.
Yeah, I will say that actually is a super good black deck, but I don't even know if I would consider it a black deck because it has Greymon in it.
It's an Omnimon deck.
Yeah.
The color of the deck is irrelevant. The only thing you're getting out of it being a black deck is the fact that it has access to blocker and reboot.
Yeah.
And that's what they do to give these decks a viable chance, is they'll be like, oh, just give it its 2 best keywords, blocker, reboot. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, but see, because here's the thing with these decks, right? And this is why we mean what we mean by they're Greymon decks and they're like Garurumon decks. Agumon's line and Greymon's line has always done one thing. Usually, right? They get big, they swing for a lot of security checks, they have all the effects. Garurumon, same thing. We're gonna draw a lot of cards, we're gonna unsuspend and attack a lot, okay? See, now you get purple decks like Lugamon, right? People will be like, oh, well, Lugamon's a thing, right? That's its own deck. It does everything purple does.
Yeah.
It's
a purple deck.
It's a purple deck.
And it even steals best keyword from green. They said, this is ours now.
Yes. So
they should not have done that. Was a huge mistake.
It's stuff like that. Black does not have a deck, a core deck that's good, that does what they wanted Black's core mechanics to do, which was blocker, reboot, and Digivolve.
Mm-hmm. They even tried to build
reboots everywhere else now. It's not even their effect anymore. It used to just be Black. Yeah. Now it's everywhere. Everywhere has it, and now everything has pretty much blocker too.
Yeah. And it's like they even tried to give Black its own unique protection effect. And it's by far the worst protection effect this card game has with Decoy. Like, I'd say
I forgot that was originally a black effect.
Like, I think Barrier's pretty close for being close to as bad, but at least they're still supporting Barrier.
Yeah, Barrier's actually...
Yeah, it has potential to be very good.
Yeah.
When was the last time Decoy was actually supported?
No, when you played against a Kintorosmon deck, don't say that Barrier's bad because it was in that deck. That's...
He saw me. Davis. I love you, Caleb. Shout out, Caleb. He saw me add the Zudomon off the Davis. He promoted
to pass turn. You activated the Davis to pass turn and added a Zudomon.
Added Zudo, and I have a level 4 on the board. He knows this. This is like game 2. He's already seen me like Zudomon him. He literally attacked with his level 4, activated Barrier. And I go, okay, any more effects? He's like, no. And I go, Zudo?
You don't activate Barrier. What? I don't understand.
Well, when they're
like in that scenario, you wouldn't activate
something.
Was he trying to crash into it or something?
I can't remember. I just remember him doing the Barrier stuff, and I was like, I was like, are you sure you wanted to do that, man? Like, I have the Zudo.
Maybe he was trying to crash into you, and he was thinking he was Gucci because he could just trash the security.
Or he thought he was safe because he had barrier.
Yeah. He was like,
yeah. Because
Zudo would have happened before the barrier kicked in.
It was funny. I just remember that.
Yeah, I remember him walking into it after you literally activated Davis and it was your only target.
Like, because you can even look at cards, going back to the black discussion, you can even look at decks that all have DNA Digivolves, right? Every color has very, very strong DNA Digivolves. And then you look at the two that we got for black, and the only reason they're even good is because they're bundled with red. Anyway, as I was trying to say, the Ragna is a good DNA, but it's a good DNA because it has really broken effects. It's made for a bad deck. Ragna's carried by the fact that he's broken. His deck is weaker because he is too good. And then you look at like Alter S, and Alter S is literally just Perperial, but on steroids. Because, again, it's Omnimon, and that's their golden child, and they're gonna make him broken. So it's not because it's a black deck, it's because this is the main protagonist deck. I think that's the only reason those decks are even playable.
So in short term, or closing remarks for this is, I just want black to at least reach a stable level. It's always been behind all the other colors. Think about it. It got its hybrids after them when it was already a set or two way too late.
Dude,
hybrids were already
later.
So later.
Like it gets everything that the other colors get. It gets way later because they always try and do some funny kind of weird with black, and it just puts its sets behind, and they can never catch back up.
Remember,
I just want to see it reach where the other colors are.
Do you remember how long it took black to get their 2-cost 5 to hard play level 5?
Yeah, it's like sets. Multiple sets.
It was like
BT5.
It was like Lord Nightmon format.
Yeah, BT5. When everyone else had theirs from like 1.5 format.
Because they were taking multiple sets trying to like slow drip us Diaboromon stuff. Like every time like a new Diaboromon card came out, it took the spot of something that was like the other colors were getting because they were trying to be cute with it. It's just like all this dumb stuff. It's ridiculous. Like they're always so far behind because they try and do these cute things with it. I just want to see them catch up and have like a nice level playing field with it. That means completely nuking the color and coming up with different keywords for them, then that's what they got to do. That's all I'm saying is like let's make black good again in Digimon. I think the formats are better when every color you can like literally take a deck from every color and they can be like at least competitive.
Yeah. Like it's bad when your quote unquote best keyword, I'm going to put that in quotations, that they gave black is the fact it is like very blocker forward. Every color has access to multiple blockers at multiple levels, so it's not even unique to black anymore.
Yeah.
So I think we need to stop focusing on anywhere near that. Like stop making it a super passive defensive color. It just needs to balance itself out.
I think trashing security is something they could do more with black. That would make it more aggressive. It'd be like a slippery slope to make it too broken, but I think that's something they could start giving to black more.
Or even like de-digivolving, like how Ultimate Flare's like, okay, we're gonna de-digivolve you by 3 stages. As if it's a level 3, delete it. Why let them do that? If you get them all the way down to like level 3, just delete it. Like why not? Like because sometimes it's a good thing for the opponent to be like, you know what, I actually can digivolve on this and draw more cards.
Yeah,
Or you reactivated my floodgate.
Yeah.
Mario Death X'd me a few times whenever we were playing, when I was playing versus security control, and every time he did it, I was like, cool, I get to use War Greymon again and get the 3k boost.
Exactly. It's like it's a good thing sometimes, you know? Oh, another one. What was that one set a couple sets ago where the black deck with all the big boss monster and you played a bunch of the little
Skull Nightmon?
No, he's talking about the secret rare.
Oh,
the tank.
Galactimon?
Yeah.
Galactimon!
Yeah.
Another deck where let's be cute with black. It did that. What Galactimon?
Yeah, they
do?
keep like giving us like half decks for one set, and then they just like, we'll just try again next time.
And it's always black. I'm telling you, it's always black. Just do it in black. Put it behind. Black doesn't have an ace.
There's one.
Doesn't have a level 5 ace.
There's one. They don't have a level 5 ace, but neither does purple. To be fair,
okay, but purple has Luga. Purple
doesn't need it.
Yeah, purple doesn't need
it. They have Luga.
Can you imagine if they had a level 5 purple ace?
That's what we were saying.
That's what I was. Me and Brandon were talking about this in the car. Brandon, when does black get its level 5 ace?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't exist in Japan yet?
It hasn't been. Nope, never. It hasn't been revealed yet. We were talking about this in the car.
So it's just like their hybrids.
Yeah. Blue, yellow, green, and red all get brand new aces in 15. Purple and black don't.
Well, they can't give purple ones.
Yeah.
Imagine they do their Lugo stuff and then also have an ace in their hand.
Oh, they're just like, oh, sorry, I couldn't kill you this turn, but I have 4 level 4s on the board. Good luck swinging at me, I guess.
Imagine, and this is still, I think, a very slept-on deck that I think could still compete right now. Beelzemon also had one, where if you, like, milled it, like, imagine they gave Beelzemon an ace. You milled it, you get to do something, and then add it to your hand.
Pass.
Like, imagine Beelzemon. Wizardmon. Okay, pass.
Pass.
Like, yeah, pass.
Balmon ace.
Yeah, Balmon ace. Like... You can't give purple an ace card because the decks they printed some of the key decks for purple they printed you just can't do.
The color's inherently broken because of the mechanics they assign to it.
Yeah,
like it would mill and draw. It would draw cards. Like I could imagine the blast days. Draw 2 cards, discard 1.
And then like gain memory for discarding cards.
And a game memory or something like. And it'd be a 4-play. It'd be a 4 on play mill so many cards, draw cards or whatever. You know it's purple.
Yeah.
Oh, but they'll deck out. Yeah, they're gonna kill you first.
Yeah, you're still dead. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
But it's the complete
deck out a purple player.
It's the complete opposite for black. Complete opposite. Black can't kill you fast enough, and they don't have the good cards that these other colors are getting.
Mm-mm.
They can't even. They're not even the best defensive deck. They haven't been the best defensive deck in formats.
Mm-mm.
Like it's been like their whole thing is they're passive defensive and patient, but like you're just patiently waiting for your opponent to kill you. It's just,
basically yes.
Like blue has usurped black as the better control built in, whereas like Setcon has beat them for just being a better control. Period. Like it's just they're not even the best control deck anymore.
There's not even any black options in most security control decks.
Not anymore.
There's not.
It used to be yellow black because they would play the Flare and Spiral. No, not Spiral. What was it called?
Iron Fisted Onslaught.
Yeah, there. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Lord Nightmon's move.
Yeah, they play Wyvern's Breath for the yellow end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Let's make black good again. You know,
I don't know if I'd use the word again. I mean,
it had Alphamon
for a few weeks and
a couple weeks.
Got banhammered.
Yeah, before it got nipped in the butt.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
So in this card game, this is kind of almost hand in hand with power creep. Do you guys believe cards are becoming too free to use? So I saw a lot of discussion where specifically people were pointing out Messenger, the yellow 1-cost option.
Oh my god, it's the new HPD. It's every when HPD came out and it was talked about. It's all messengers turned into. It's all I see now. But go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody has been talking. I wouldn't call it complaining. It just seems like more general discussion that the game is advancing to the point where things are becoming really, really free. Like the whole point of our memory system in this game when it first launched was every time you played a card, it had an associated cost. And people are starting to point out like examples, specifically in this set, where you can play a very cheap resource and get things that in earlier the game, like you probably would have paid 5 memory for. Like Lugamon is a great example where I get to Evo into my level 6, and just because I had my Tamer in my sources, which is very easy to do, I get to play 3 free bodies from the trash.
Yeah, Luga would have been back in the day. Lugamon would be like a level 7. It'd be level 7.
It would have killed the card game because people would have been like, "I'm not playing this game."
This is tier 0. Yeah,
it would have cost 6 to Digivolve, and it would have been a level 7.
They never would have printed
it was 6 to Digivolve level 7s. Good times.
Yeah, they would have never printed another Dark Animal level 4. Period.
Yeah, it would have been like Lord Nightmon with Yellow Warriors. They're just like, we can't give them anything else.
BT1, red or blue Omni going up against Lugamon right now. Alright, let me Digivolve into my Omnimon. I'll kill your Finra Lugamon. But you're dead. You died like 4 turns ago. This
you've
match
been
is
dead,
over.
Bro.
Why are you still playing? My deck's put away. I wrote down 2-0. But I just saw my combo. Are you even using training cards? What cards?
Yeah, what?
I'll say this.
Mulligan?
I'll say this regarding this fact. I do kind of wish that Messenger, like when you Digivolved, I get it cost 1, but like you had to pay something. Like it just reduced the Digivolution cost. Like not completely free, because I'll tell you right now, it felt super bad every time Ben activated it, and he already knew what was in there, and he rapid bombed me multiple times because he knows it's in there, or he puts it in there himself. Like again, a good player is going to abuse the card. Like if I was playing against a Ben every week, and he's playing that, and he kept doing that to me, I'd want the card hit too. Like I could see that card getting hit if it gets abused the way. Yeah. If it gets abused the way I saw it be abused against me tonight, I'm like, this is a very good card. I do wish that it just reduced the Digivolution cost. I don't think I'd feel as bad. Like I think it does a lot. It does a lot. But I don't think this is why I want to be in the room where they're designing cards, because they clearly didn't think this card out very well. Where they're like, what about these past cards that they can use? What
about these old yellow vaccine cards?
Don't worry about those cards.
That was in the past.
Yeah, they're not going to want to play that, guys. They're going to want to play this new stuff.
They're not going to want to play this Rapidmon.
Yeah, I just wish it reduced. They'll even use the Digivolution cost.
Yeah, they'll even use the new Tokomon, right? They won't just give their stacks jamming. Why would they?
Or just Digivolve for the full cost. The card would be just balanced at that point.
I think it would probably have to be 0 cost if it paid the full cost for the Evo, but I still think it would be balanced. 0. I think it would actually be a balanced 0 cost card.
Yeah. Make it a 0 where you have to pay the Digivolution cost. I'd been fine with that. At least then it's like he literally would activate it and go into Rapidmon and keep turn and just
a lot of times, if he has setup, he net gains memory off that Evo.
Yes.
I think a big issue with it as well is its requirements to recover are also built into using the card. Like the fact that it rips a card from your security, but as long as you have basically any of your tamers that are played in that deck out, you just get to recover.
I think it has to be a card with TK Takashi, but those are like the only good yellow tamers.
Yeah, that's the only ones.
Like, what are you going to play? Kari? Like the 4-cost Kari? No, you're playing the TK.
Yeah.
Because you want to look at your security. You want to grab the piece you want. Get a nice little preview of what's in there so you can play forward. Because that deck basically treats their security like a second hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
100%. Like, he actually messengered into, I think, Rapid, cleared my board, traininged into Magna Angemon, and then recovered, and then evoed into Sor and recovered.
Mm-hmm.
And within all of that, he spent like 3 to 4 memory. And Rapid, if you remember, is a 40 evo.
Mm-hmm.
But because he messengered, it was messenger or training. Pretty sure it was messenger. He just got to do it for free. And he actually gained a memory off of it because I think he had multiple TKs on the board.
Yeah, and the Patamon.
Yeah, and the Pata. Like, I've seen a lot of discussion about this game just becoming generically too free. And it's weird because, like, if that were, like, the case, let's say, for everything. Greymon X probably wouldn't be limited. Jet Sylphie wouldn't be limited because they were very, very free cards.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. Half the cards on that ban list, I don't know why they're still on there when we have some of the stuff that I watched happen tonight.
Yeah, some of this set is I can see why they brought Tommy and Savior Huck off the list, but we need Jet and Gray X back ASAP Ferg.
Thank God the hybrids aren't vaccine. That would have been a little too hard. That would have been the vaccine deck would have gone a little too hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was funny. That was funny. That was funny, Sean. ASAP Ferg. I don't know why.
You never heard that before?
No, that got me.
But I think because of how our resource system in this game works, I've been thinking about it as well a lot. That do you think it's possible that they've gone a little too fast with how free things are becoming, or how do you guys feel about the pace of how we're getting these things?
I think I would be okay with two things. One, they give all of the decks the ability to do some of the unfair things that only a few decks have access to, or they take away those unfair things. Because if everything's broken, nothing is. But if only a few things are broken, that's extremely unfair and unbalanced.
It's like the Modern Warfare 2 approach, the classic Modern Warfare 2 thing.
I was going to say the Incredibles approach, but yeah.
Oh, that too, yeah. Their balancing process was if everything's broken in the game, nothing's broken in the game.
Yeah, when everyone's special, no one is.
No one's special.
And what was I going to say? I mean, we can even look a couple sets before this and say Shine Greymon's kind of the same way. I mean, you literally had a tamer, which, again, it's a tamer, so it's already way different than some of these cards. But you had ways to get the tamer out for technically free. I mean, you're still having to pay for the Digivolution, so that's a cost in it of itself. But you're also having to pay one memory off the Marcus to then Digivolve into a level 6 for free.
That's true.
You know, but it was a tamer that if you didn't have the Greymon to play for free, or if you had a build and raising, you have to pay the 4 memory to hard play it. But it's still a very good card that people hated so much that they wanted it banned because hard you could hard banned
because it let you give it for free.
I agree. With the thing about Digimon that's so unique is the memory gauge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing that intrigues a lot of people about Digimon is the memory gauge, because it's such a unique system to the game that I think if they stray too far away from that, where playing too much free stuff or that's where you're going to start to lose people, because they lose the interaction of playing with that memory gauge. But the game's also got to evolve too, and I think that Yellow had gotten so far off of what it was, because again, Shine Greymon's not a Yellow deck.
It's a Greymon.
It's a Greymon deck. Okay, Yellow has not been good for many a sets.
Yeah, since BT7, I think.
It's had pieces. It's had pieces here. It's had a Venusmon. It's had a Yellow hybrid. Yellow or Security Control, which I don't think is a Yellow deck. That's its own little thing. Yeah. But it's had pieces, but it hasn't been a good stable deck for a while. And I do think that Yellow vaccine hard loses. It has some pretty bad counters out there. It'll lose hard to certain decks.
Should have lost to mine last night. Ben dodged me.
But I think maybe they were hey, let's get out a couple good cards out here for Yellow and bring it back. That, or they just didn't foresee people playing these cards the way they were with the Bulkamon or the Rapidmon, where they're hey, we're gonna go in early real quick, or we're gonna it's. I don't know. I just want to be in the room when they're coming up with these cards and be hey guys, let's make that 0, but you have to pay the Digivolution. Yeah, you got to pay the Digivolution cost.
Chill out. Let's go ahead and just Google search Yellow Vaccine Digimon cards real quick and see what we're giving them access to.
Yeah, I see you're cooking, but maybe we take a step back and we let that simmer for a second.
Yeah.
Right.
Looks like it's about to boil over.
And then same thing with the Balmon, Sean's best friend,
It's a very free card. If it would have been once per turn, it's way more balanced.
Back in the day, once per turn. It would normally be once per turn.
Yes.
I agree.
No, straight up, they wouldn't have printed it. that card would have never been a Tama. It would have been the inheritable of maybe a level 3, maybe a level 4. Look at the Dracomon. Look at the Sanglautmon. They have almost identical inheritables. The only difference is it's a win attacking.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that card later, but I have lots of issues.
We have thoughts.
Yeah.
So I like, we don't see it too often where they like give us like an entire deck, and it just comes straight out of the gates, and it's like the best
Tier 1.
It's tier 0.
I wouldn't say it's tier 0.
Well, it's
a very strong tier 1 deck.
So if you ask me,
and it
what
kind
qualifies...
of warps the meta around it a little bit, but not completely to where it's tier 0.
I don't. You think it could have the? You think it could have the Belfimon effect where it's like everyone hops on it, and then everyone literally, it happened the last set. Everyone hopped on Belfi, and then everyone's like counter Belfi, so everyone stopped playing Belfi.
Yep. Solarmon. Okay.
Well, yeah, the issue.
But Lugamon doesn't have that one hard counter.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
100% does.
The Pillowmons of the world.
Oh, yeah, okay, the Pillowmon.
The issue is they have an easier time outing those cards, but they do have to out them.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to waste a Chimera. I have to either hard Evo into it, or I have to somehow find a way to DNA into it. So there are hard counters for this deck. But the thing is, I think what quantifies a tier 0 deck is the ability for basically a very below average player to grab this deck and still dominate with it. A tier 0 deck carries a bad player to a win. I think Luga is a very strong tier 1, but the fact that I fumbled 2 full matches just because I was Papega, I think it stays at tier 1. I don't think it's crashing tier 0. Tier 0
I agree with that. Like tier 0 is like, it's such a good deck that the player can't mess it up and lose.
The pilot is at the wheel, but he's very clearly not paying attention. Still wins. That's tier 0.
Yeah, you can misplay multiple times and still win just because of how unfair it is.
Yeah. But I feel like how would you guys fix the pacing? Do you think we have to start adding more restrictions to cards, or do you think we just have to start adding more associated cost?
I think Blast Ace is a good start.
Because there is a counterplay for the Blast Aces. People will say, oh, well, those are very free cards. Yeah, but if you out it, if you counter it, then you get a benefit for it.
Those are free, but they require setup, and also you can very easily play around them.
Yep.
But I think the ability to poop out 3 dudes on your turn for free, which, I mean, Purple's always been kind of inherently unfair once they stopped caring about giving them their on plays.
Yeah, they suddenly are just flipped. Like, hey, you can have all your on plays now.
Yeah, once they were cool with that, Purple's been pretty unfair, just generically.
It's like they forgot about Black Gato. Oh crap, they can spawn out a Digimon with Rush.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it gives Retail as a inheritable, so you have access to one of Purple's best keywords there too.
Yeah, Black Gato and Chimeramon are also part of the problem with Lugamon, because they're also just really good and basically free with the way that deck works.
Yep. Anytime you get the Black Gato in hand, trash it and then forget about it until you're going to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you think we need to slow the game down a bit, or do you think like something drastic needs to be done, or do you think it just needs to be something small they go through in these next few sets to kind of taper things back a bit?
I don't think a drastic change is super necessary as far as like our format. I don't really know about Japan, but I think they probably need to hit Bow, and they could potentially hit Emissary. Maybe give it the HBD treatment and put it to 1. I think Bow needs to go to 0, but because those are like the only truly kind of unfair cards, I think, from this set.
I think they just need to... I know they haven't done this yet. They haven't shown a precedent for this yet. They need to errata it. They need to pull a Necro Valley, and they need to just change the effect. Make it a once per turn.
No.
Hard once per turn.
No.
Still think it's too much?
No, I just hate that concept. Like, just ban that card and print a new one.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the concept of errating cards to like depower them. I think it's stupid that Konami did that.
I've got to disagree with Sean on this. BT14 War Greymon should be added that list. That card should be banned. It's too good.
It's
too OP. Please nerf.
Yeah. I don't know how, but my opponent earlier, he pulled out like 20 cards on turn 2 and killed me. I just...
he 10 card OTK'd me on turn 2, Bandai.
He showed me the BT14 War Greymon. He said game 2, and I was like, yeah, you got it, bud.
You got it.
I drew War Greymon. Are we going next? Or like,
he hadn't played any cards. He hadn't played any cards up to that point. He just showed it to me. He said game 2, and I said, yeah, you got it, bud.
You got it. I mean, I can't do anything about that. Yeah.
So we're thinking not something drastic, like maybe like a set rotation. I think that's way too far.
Mm-mm.
But you're thinking something smaller, like maybe just furthering the restriction list and making cards just less inherently free going forward.
Yeah, that, and I think maybe Chimeramon needs to be looked at now. Because it's only going to get, like, the longer the game goes, the better that card's going to get.
Yeah,
just because it's any 2 level 4s.
I was gonna say, I think we knew this when the card first came out. Like we all talked about this. Like this card could be like a huge problem in not just one deck, but any deck that has a broken little spit out bodies. And then because I think it's an inherent problem with DNA digivolving. If they could not attack that,
if they had DNA, summoning sickness like everything else,
it would be different. But it's literally the fact that it becomes a new Digimon.
It erases all its old effects.
Yes, that's what's
negative
broken.
Security checked me. Too bad. DNA.
I think all that would be fine. I think the rush basically is I agree with that.
The fact that it comes out without summoning sickness is what's broken. It's like, oh, okay, so your Finra died to the security attack. Well, I still have these 2 level 4s Chimera. Here's another one. It's stuff like that where now I can attack again because it's our turn. So it's stuff like that. Like, but the problem was they wanted to make sure that Imperial Dramon was good. And so they were like, they had to make sure that it could attack after DNA digivolving. That was like its whole thing. Like you can see it there. That was its whole thing.
Yeah,
but it's just like
a little less BS is if it had like the requirement of at least one of the bodies had to have already been on the board. Like I don't know how you balance that. I don't know if you could, but I think just getting rid of its ability to swing the turn it comes out is probably the correct way to go about it. Or just giving us DNAs that actually cost.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I'm sure that'll eventually happen, but that is odd that they're always like pay the cost of 0.
I would say this. Okay, fine. You can have no summoning sickness, but you got to pay the 4 memory to DNA. Or the 3 memory. Like, you know how, like, Digimon cards now, like, they're doing, like, this Agumon costs 1 to Digivolve, but not if it's on Koromon.
Yeah.
Like, same thing. Okay, if you're going to Digivolve this, 4. But if you DNA Digivolve this, it's 3 or 2. Digivolve. Like, pay something for it. Don't let it be free.
Yeah, like, if DNA'd with Exvimon and Stingmon, it costs 2.
Right.
I think in most scenarios, DNAs, while being very, very strong, are kind of balanced in the fact that you have to have 2 specific dudes on the fields to go into them. I think Chimeramon is the problem because Chimeramon's the reason for a few things being on the ban list. Like Ozmon was put on the ban list because of Chimeramon, and so was Savior.
Yeah, Jesmon having access to Chimera was actually broken because you could have multiple sisters on the board. Because one of the sisters is a level 4. You can DNA into them and then tuck your Savior under it.
Yeah.
Because he grabs a card from trash and just puts them in there.
Like, those cards were originally hit because Chimera was coming out. And it was a problem because you could just poop out the level 4s like it was free, kind of like Lugumon, and just go into Chimera. And it's just a whole new body with whatever inheritable you want from your trash that's level 5 or lower.
So, I now that we've talked about this, I'm sitting here realizing maybe this is just a format thing where we're reacting to what format right now, and technically Digimon's already always been here. Where stuff's free. we literally just talked about so many cards where we're like, oh well, that was free. Well, that was free. That was free. That was free. Like,
but it's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm just talking about a few specific things that like they literally put stuff on the ban list because Commandramon is a card. Like, I think Commandramon needs to be looked at.
Yeah, so it's like maybe this is just like a format thing where like, okay, well, Lugamon's just going to be the deck this format because it's free.
I mean, I'm okay with it being
it's just like
I'm okay with it being tier 1. I think there's a couple of mechanics in that deck that I think Commandramon is kind of an issue because it's an extender for them that's literally free.
Literally
right.
And like it feels really bad if you have some way to out their fin when they go into it and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to Chimera and just do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can deal with 6 bodies now. Sorry.
Yeah. And
listen, you guys want to counter Lugamon? You play Ruin mode. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, I'm playing Shine next week. Anybody that plays in our locals that watches the podcast, prepare yourselves.
Yep.
I wasn't kidding. I have it built.
Yeah, because it literally negs 5, and most of your level 4s you're playing out of your security are 5 or 6. So
is it crazy to think? Is it crazy to play like 1 or 2 Shine or Ruin modes in like your Luga deck to counter the mirror match?
Just to counter theirs? Oh God, I probably could.
I wouldn't say it's crazy. It might be a little clunky, but I guess it wouldn't punish you as hard for promoting early. Because I feel like in the mirror, it's whoever promotes first probably loses because you just get OTK'd.
Yeah. Yep. Because then you're going to have a body on the board. They're not going to have a body on the board, and you just lose.
Yeah, unless you're swinging with a hell that pops itself at the end of the turn, and you get like Analog Youth.
I don't even want to think about that mirror match. It just I'm like watching it in my head. I'm like, this sucks.
It's probably pretty similar to the Raid War Grey mirror, where it's just like
literally
we both have a super uninteractive combo, but it requires our opponent to have one thing on the field.
Yeah, I mean that's why I was losing to Sean in the Ulti Cup gameplay. Once he switched over to All Force and I switched over to Luga, is because he would just I have 4 Sora Joes, I have 2 Tai V Tamers, I built All Force, you're dead. And I'm sitting here like trying to kill him, and it's like, put a body on the board so I can pop it, unsuspend, and attack again.
Yeah.
Do it, you coward.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm playing the right deck where I don't have to put things on the field to progress my game state, it's really easy to play around Lugamon.
Yeah, that's why it was really easy to play against Blue Hybrid, because they're always wanting to put their floodgates out. They're wanting to put Bokos out. You know, they can't just sit on their tamers like an All Force deck can, or like a Shine Greymon can.
Yeah, it's pretty nice playing those decks against Lugamon.
Yeah, especially with your spicy tech cards you're going to be playing this week. Not playing this week, but putting in your deck going forward.
Oh, yeah. I honestly want to run it back with that deck, but I mean, for the content, I just can't do it.
Yeah, just spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in closing, with that last little bit, the problem I don't think is cards becoming too free. I think it's certain strategies being given access to too much freedom. Too much free stuff, I think, is the big issue. If one deck does one thing free, that's fine. But if you give it 4 different free things that it has access to all at once, that's when you have an issue.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that, because I don't think Yellow Vaccine's absolutely like nutty because of Messenger. Like, Messenger's like a really good card where I'm like, okay, that sucks, and it enables a lot of stuff, but it's not like Luga, which has like 3 or 4 free things that it's doing. So I could see where people could be upset with that.
Yeah, that's why people were really upset with Apocalypse, because the Garu engine just allowed you to get to Apocalypse for free, basically.
All right, Sean. So what was your brilliant topic today?
Let's see.
Is it just I hate Balmon?
I think Balmon needs to be banned. I think the issue I have is it is the best card in the deck, and it is the enabler of all your combos, and it's a card. Yeah, it's a card you don't have to draw.
You have access to 4 right off the rip.
I think that is a massive mistake. They should have made that maybe the Lugamon inheritable or something like that, but making it just the Tama's inheritable, I think, was a massive mistake, because it makes the deck way too consistent Despite it being a combo deck, like the primary driver of the combo is just a card you have access to immediately.
It's crazy. That is the best Tama they've ever printed.
Oh yeah, without question.
Bar none. Yeah, bar none.
Like it's so weird. We've never seen a card like this before. Where normally it's like draw a card, or minus 1,000 security, or gain, or minus 1,000 DP, or gain 1,000 DP.
Yeah.
It's never, hey, Digivolve for free if you do what your deck does.
Well, I mean, you don't. It's not free, but it lets
free.
It lets you evo.
It's free.
It lets you evo while you're swinging.
It's free.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Every one of their cards says discard a card. It's free.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially if it's like, it's not even, you don't even have to have the card that is discarding, like the stack that's discarding, doesn't have to be involved with it evoing.
Yeah, you can just discard from something else.
Yeah, so for instance, the level 4 has an on play, ditch a card to return a card to your hand, or like
no, you pick it up and then discard it.
Yeah, you pick it up and then you discard it. So if you go into your level 5, who spawns a body, you can pick back up your level 4, put him on the board. He picks back up your level 6, puts him back in the trash. Your baby sees that, your little Thomas sees that, and then you can just evo your level 6 onto your level 5. And then your level 6 goes, oh, hey, I just evoed. I have the Tamer in the source. Here's 3 more bodies.
Yeah.
Feels good.
I think the issue of them not having to draw a card is a massive mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it should have been the inheritable of like the level 3 of the Lugamon himself.
Yes.
Hell, maybe even the
normally
level 4.
No, normally this would have been a level 3. Like, this would have been a level 3's effect because it's easy to get rid of. It's easy to deal with. That's the whole point of the level 3 floodgates.
You have to draw it as well.
You have to draw it. You have to draw it, and it's easy to get rid of.
So you think if you swap the inheritables of the level 2 and the level 3, way more balanced.
Right.
Way more balanced.
What's the level 3's inheritable?
Gain a memory when you play a dark animal. Once per turn.
That's a Tama effect. That's literally a Tama effect. We got stuff like that does that as a Tama.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're right. The level 3 and that should be swapped. I mean, it just makes sense. It's the fact that it's just like, oh, hope I see my best card. Hatch. Oh, there it is.
There you are.
Hey.
I did nothing for that.
Fancy meeting you here.
Imagine the one Luga player out there who's playing 5 Tamas and it's like Hatch and it's not Balmont. It's like, guess I've lost. Like,
man, scoop
I need to get this out of here. Stat. Yeah,
I agree, Sean. It's like there's no skill involved. You literally don't have to hope to draw. You don't have to mulligan hoping to see it. You know, it's just always there.
Now, I will say, just to prove a point, a little while ago, me and Sean did do some playtesting, and I did play a match where I did not have the Balmon. I had Sunamon instead, and I still won. So it's not the end-all, be-all of the deck, but it is it's like having a cake without frosting. You want your frosting. The Balmon is the frosting.
I think the Balmon's the cake, my guy.
You think everything else is the frosting?
The Balmon's the bakery, actually.
He's the baker.
He's what gets everything going. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes things inherently broken.
I agree. Like the core of Lugamon is very good. The like normally you wouldn't see it got not just one level 5, it got 2 level 5s. Like normally
level 5s.
Yeah, normally that wouldn't happen. Like imagine Shine Greymon got its 2 level 4s or its 2 level 3s like sets ago. Like it would have been awesome. No, instead we had to wait like 3 sets to get its full core.
Mm-hmm.
You know, normally that's how it would happen. You get one and then that's it. You have to build around that.
Yeah,
but this one, they're like, here's the whole line plus more. So it's like the core of Lugamon is really cool. It's really good. But the Balmon just I think Lugamon's like a good tier 1 deck without the Balmon. And it's like, here's the Balmon, or it's here. You know, it's like it becomes better than better, you know? Not tier 0, not pushing tier 0, but it goes from like bottom end tier 1, where it's like you have to work for it, to I don't have to work for it.
Yeah, and like
that's all it is.
And there's no way to play around them having the Tama. Like, if it were the Lugamon inheritable, you could be like, oh, they don't have Lugamon in their raising area, so like I don't have to worry about them absolutely popping off on me. But once they see it,
I don't have to worry about them promoting a level 3 and OTKing me.
Yeah, through 5 security.
So, I like what Chris was saying with them getting the full line and then some in just one set. Like, I think the deck would have been taken down a peg if the Hellugermon would have actually been printed with the rest of the new support we're getting for it. And I think BT15. It's either 15
I think
or
it's EX5.
I think it might be EX5. Where that, imagine we had to wait a full set before we got its second level 5, because we're getting a new level 3, we're getting a new level 4.
The fact that they were like, this deck needs more support after they put the entirety of the deck in BT14. They were like, let's do it. Let's do some more. Let's give them a little more juice.
It's like they realized their mistake and they're nowhere near as good, but they are still very good because they're half red, which means one of this deck's biggest counters, which is security, like, you know, any options that would like kill your stack or maybe blow up your board, like hitting a Crimson Blaze out of security, oof. You can just play ADP now. You can just play Delicate Plan, and you don't worry about it because you have access to so much memory in this deck anyway. You don't care.
Do they have a new Tama? Do they have a new Tama in that set?
Just a 3.
I would hope not. They obviously they know that they don't need
to get 2.0.
No, I was thinking like if there was a new one in there, maybe that's showing signs where they were like, hey, we gotta
do something about this.
You gotta do something about this one.
Yeah, and the fact that it's not once per turn, like I have so many issues with that Digitama. Like, it is by far the best effect we've ever had as a Digitama. And it's not once per turn, which is extremely rare for a Digitama effect, or an effect in general, to not be once per turn.
Yeah, I can't think of many, if any, that aren't once per turn.
Yeah, like Wanyamon's a once per turn. That's one of the best generic draw ones.
The Doraemon from BT13 is the only one that comes to mind that's not once per turn. It's like when attacking, if you have 4 or more sources, draw a card. It's a black card, though, so you wouldn't have heard about it.
Right. I was gonna say the Bukamon gives jamming. That's not a once per turn thing, but it's just like
technically,
that's like
but
turn. You know, it's like all time.
Yeah, Bukamon's really good, but
I agree. I love Bukamon.
Yeah, just massive mistake. I hope that card gets hit because that card is a huge problem. And
the problem, I was gonna say, the problem with it is people just drop the deck like a bad habit because they see what's coming in the horizon and they're just like, oh, this new, this better, me play this now.
Well, the issue is any dark animal they print from now on is going to make that Tama even better. Like, the Tama is basically like what Lord Nightmon was for Yellow Warriors. Is they have to be very careful about printing dark animals. I guess they don't have to be purple, but is Balmon purple specifically, or does it just say dark animal?
I think it's just dark animal or SOC. I can double check real quick. I have it pulled up.
Okay.
And it is BT15. We get the next support, not EX5. That's what I was looking.
Well, that's good then, because then we have at least one set before we get even more support for that stupid deck.
Does not specify color.
Okay, yeah. So any dark animal or SOC, they have to be wary of that Tama existing.
Yeah,
because it's just natural support.
It's funny because these cards don't really even play all that well into the Balmon. It's like they realize their mistake and we're like, make sure they don't have access to 2 more cards that play into it. Because you have to swing with the level 3 if you want to use its effect. Because it's when attacking by trashing 1 card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's 3,000 DP or less, so you can now out the floodgates.
Oh my way God, easier. It's a Pillowmon counter that's not Hellugermon.
And then
why?
And then it continues. It has more. If a tamer with SOC trait is in this card source's draw card. So
yeah, nice. Just what they need.
So you're getting to trash a card, which is going to trigger your Balmon, which is nice. And then he has an inheritable, which is end of attack once per turn. If your opponent has 1 or more memory, gain a memory. So he's gaining memory back, which is nice. And then the level 4 also plays into your Bowmon. When Digivolving / when attacking, by trashing one card in your hand, there's the key. This Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP for the turn.
So making him even bigger.
Yeah, so he's 5k, so he's 7k now. So, and we still have Alliance. And then if you have a tamer with SOC trait in the sources, draw a card. And then he has the exact same inheritable. If you have
just what purple needs, more draw power. Keep doing it. Just what they needed.
So that deck do be getting support.
Yeah.
So
I think if they ban the Bowmon, that deck is extremely fair.
Do they not realize that when you Digivolve, you draw? Why are we giving cards that discard cards draw power?
They did the same thing.
There's the negative.
Way worse. They did the same thing, but way worse with Garu X, EX5. That card is legitimately like the big problem everybody points to when they're like, "Oh, this card is too fast. This card is like that does much." When Digivolve it, draw 2, then trash 2. If you have Garu or X antibody in source, gain a memory. So he's literally Graceful Charity. You get a draw 3, trash 2, which is exactly what purple wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gains a memory if you're playing it in a Garu deck.
Or a deck that just has the X antibody option.
Yeah. And then, of course, he has a protection inheritable, which it's still not as good as Greymon's, but the fact we're getting it at all is very good.
Okay, but imagine if Greymon could draw 3 cards and then discard 2.
Yeah, that would make that option card Sean got, Dragon of Courage, actually worth something.
Yes, we could actually play Dragon of Courage unironically if we had the ability to discard cards.
Yeah, but imagine you got to do it for just Digivolving.
Yeah, just for Digivolving. Oh, your Greymon X is at 1? Sorry, man. What are you in here for? I got a Evo into my level 5 for 1 memory. What about you? Oh, no, I'm at 4, man. I get to trash 2 cards. I have a protection effect. I gain memory.
Like, seriously, guys. What's the negative there when they give purple you have to discard a card. Okay, but also draw. You already draw off the Digivolute. Where's the negative there?
It used to be in purple that like you didn't want to discard cards because like once stuff was in your trash for the most part, you weren't really interacting with it that much.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, oh, I need these things in my trash because my deck needs these things in my trash to like combo. So like me discarding cards is good.
Because like
the negative, the drawback should be, okay, I don't have that many cards in my hand. You know, I have to think about the pieces I'm discarding. It doesn't matter. I'm getting to draw my whole deck while discarding it at the same time and keeping all the pieces I need to keep.
Like they really they print the exact same card for Garu that they did with Greymon. So Garu gets its own version of the Dragon of Courage option card, but that card's actually playable in the Garu deck
to use from your hand.
Because you can generically just trash the cards that you need from your hand to the trash, and then just use the option card. Like,
oh, so it uses from the trash too, but because you have the trashing effects, okay.
Yeah, it might as well be my hand.
Yeah, it might as well.
That's why I agreed, because it might as well be.
Yeah.
Because you're fixing the trash the entire game.
It's OG red hybrid versus blue hybrid debate where red hybrid was 10,000 times better than blue hybrid at the time. Koji's blue hybrid, because their tamer allowed them to use. Yeah, well, red hybrid you could do you could put all the sources underneath the tamer from the trash. With blue hybrid, with the Koji, with the Magna Garurumon, his was from hand. What do you mean? I had to hold on to all these cards in my hand and not actively play the game so I can do my hybrid play.
I have to go -5 from hand to do this
Red's
play.
like, Red goes,
your stack died?
Did you
sorry.
Yeah, my stack died? Call me an ambulance, but not for me. Like,
Red hybrid stack dies, they go, thanks. Takuya, effect again?
Yeah,
all 5 under him?
Yeah. it's that kind of stuff. Like purple should not be drawing cards on top of already drawing for Digivolution and discarding. Like they're getting to replenish their hand. They're not losing anything. The whole point should be I have to think about what I need to discard. Like, what if I discard an important piece and there's not a chance I'm drawing it again?
It used to feel like that in purple, where you really had to consider what you were discarding.
The drawback has to be losing the resources, period, without gaining anything in return, with hopes that you can use the resource later. But now you're getting resources, discarding the resources, and then refueling those resources all in one go. You're filling your hand, you're dumping your hand, you're filling your hand, you're dumping your hand. There's no, let me dump these 2 cards out, but they don't replace themselves. So my hand's going to be a little smaller, I have limited options, but I need these cards in trash. So it was like, there's no yin and yang, it's just straight gas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Sean here, ban purple.
Just ban purple. Like, honestly, if they make a floodgate, like I've made this joke before, if they make a floodgate...
Give what purple has to black. Good.
But if they make a floodgate that stops cards from hitting trash, like it bot decks it, because I don't think we're ever going to get like a ban zone. That's never going to happen.
I mean, but say that.
It's possible.
It's quite possible we could get a banish zone.
But if we got like a little level 3, because of course that's how all our floodgates are, that just says instead of cards being sent from the trash, they go to the bottom of the deck, purple dies. 100%. They have no deck anymore.
I don't know if they die, but they definitely have like a hard floodgate specifically.
A lot of their strategies struggle.
They struggle until they out it, but they have a lot of ways to, like, it would just force them to interact with you more.
Imagine hard playing that turn 1 against Beelzemon.
Yeah, I mean, they would be forced to do something about it. Yeah, they would have to interact with you. It would force interaction.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
More interaction.
You cut out. More interaction, what?
More interaction is good.
Yes, I agree. Because it's very easy to out rookies in pretty much any color besides maybe black.
I mean, heck, BT14 Lugamon's getting it.
So stupid, dude.
So is there anything else guys wanted to go over?
Ban Balmon.
I think Balmon is the greatest of boys.
Ban purple, give everything good it has to black.
Just get rid of purple as a color and just make Blurple and solve 2 problems.
But anyway, yeah, no, Balmon did nothing wrong. He's the goodest of boys.
I'll give him a call.
Ban Balmon. Balmon is a bad dog. It's a bad dog.
Whoa.
He's a cute boy.
He's a bad dog.
I won't go that far. He's a cute boy.
You take that back.
Bad dog. You deserve Macrocosmos. Bad dog.
No.
Oh my god.
That's wrong.
This before he says something he regrets.
Yeah, right. That Tyrannomon's looking at you in shame. For shame.
Don't bring Tyrannomon into this.
Do you mean it's Tyranitar that's right here?
What did I say? Tyrannomon?
Tyrannomon.
Oh my
god.
Bruh. End the podcast. Brandon's asleep.
He's got Digimon brain. He's like, that's Tyrannomon?
Listen, man, I have missed 4 analog activations all at once today. I'm cooked.
Yeah, you had all 4 out.
Yeah.
I hate that dog.
I had to say it. Alright. Good podcast, boys. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, it's night time.
Sweet dreams.
Have fun, Sean.
Always.
All right, later, man.
Bye.